Cascadia area has been rocked by a magnitude 4.7 earthquake off Vancouver Island, north of Seattle, Washington. This is after the earthquake that we had on the East Coast, just north of the upstate New York area. The area of activity in the East Coast, we had a 3.9 yesterday, and we have a 4.7 today. As we know, Vancouver Island is shifting, going this way and that. It's very active, and we've had a tremendous amount of earthquakes in the Seattle, Washington, and Portland, Oregon area. This is the Cascadia subduction zone, and 8 people have reported feeling it so far in an area that is totally very, very sparsely populated. Tectonics of the Pacific margin of North America between Vancouver Island and south central Alaska, dominated by northwest portion of the Pacific plate with respect to the North American plate. They go at a velocity of 50 millimeters a year, so it's pretty fast movement. In the south of this mapped region, convergence between the northern extent of the Juan de Fuca plate, also known as Explorer microplate, and North American plate dominate. North from the Explorer, Pacific and North American plate triple junction, Pacific North American motion is accommodated by 650 kilometer long Queen Charlotte fault system. Here we are at our map, Seismo Berkeley, and this is our 4.7 earthquake, Port Hardy, Canada. And this is Bella Bella. This is an area that gives pretty large earthquakes, and we know that this also gives earthquakes that ricochet down to the Ridgecrest area and the area of the Walker Lane fault system. This is the area that gave us the 6.9 earthquake, 6.3 earthquake, 13 hours before the 6.4 Ridgecrest earthquake on July 4th. And then that was the foreshock to the 7.1 on July 5th. That happened again in 2015. We had a 6.3, and 24 hours later we had a moderate quake in Ridgecrest. And that's because the Walker Lane fault system pushes up into the Cascadia arc right there into this area. Let's go to the map. Let's go to our map. This is our map. This is the quake right there. And our population, as you can see, very sparsely populated. That's why only 8 or 9 people reported on USGS. There's hardly anybody there. It's about, 30 kilometers off the coast of the island. This is Vancouver. This is Seattle area, Seattle-Portland area right here. And it's right on the subduction zone. Where is our, I thought I put in the tectonics. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's right on the faults, as you can see. And moving back out, that's the Juan de Fuca plate. This is our Walker Lane fault system. This is Ridgecrest right there. This is the San Andreas fault. This is the Garlic fault, Salton Sea, Walker Lane fault system. This is Mono Lake of the, this is the area of the Long Valley Caldera supervolcano. And as you can see, this thing here, you can even see the outline of the mountains, pushes in this way, and pushes up northwest towards the Cascadia arc. Okay, and going back to our description, this is it right here. The north of the Hydra Islands, plate motion is roughly parallel to the plate boundary, resulting in almost pure dextral strike slip motion along Queen Charlotte Fault. The Queen Charlotte Fault splits into multiple structures, continuing offshore southeastern Alaska as a fair weather fault. And let's go to our map right there, right here, this fault here, as you can see, all this thing here. Of course, we don't have any, just because Canada doesn't show any quakes doesn't mean it doesn't have. Let's go to our Canadian map. And this is it right here, as you can see. Okay, this is the East Coast quakes, the West Coast quakes, as you can see. Now, at southern extent of the mapped region offshore Vancouver Island lies a complex triple junction between Pacific, North American, and Juan de Fuca plates, which includes the Explorer and Winona microplates. The Winona microplate experienced little relative motion with respect to North America. Similarly, at its northern extent, the Explorer microplate tracks North American plate motion, but is subducting at a rate of only 2 centimeters. Well, 2 centimeters is pretty fast. At a rate of 2 centimeters a year, near its southern extent adjacent to Nootka Fault. Farther south, the main body of the oceanic Juan de Fuca plate converges with and subducts beneath the North American plate at around 4 to 4.5 centimeters every year. So that's about like half your thumb. That's like, if your thumb is 10 centimeters, well, no, that's pretty fast motion. The Explorer microplate is heavily deformed by internal dextral faulting, experiencing frequent moderate-sized earthquakes during the period from 1970 through 2013. This 30-kilometer wide area experienced close to 50 earthquakes of magnitude 5 or greater. The largest of these was 6.7, occurring April 6, 1992, January 5, 2008, 6.6, 6.4 struck in the same region just 40 minutes apart, and were separated by less than 20 kilometers along the southeast-northwest trend. Now, we have been told that we're expecting a large quake in this area of the northern part of the San Andreas system, but now near the northern termination of Fairweather Fault, west-northwest trending transition faults mark boundary between the Yakutat terrain and the Pacific Plate. Within the greater Queen Charlotte Fault region, excluding the Alaska-Aleutian subduction zone, more than 150 earthquakes of magnitude 5 or greater have occurred between 1973 and 2013, with only a small fraction of these events rupturing at depths greater than 25 kilometers. This quake we had just today was 10 kilometers depth. What was it? Let's go back. That was about 10 kilometers depth. 10 kilometers, yes. Okay. And earthquake epicenters along the Queen Charlotte Fault express at east-west asymmetry, with the majority of seismicity occurring towards the eastern slope of the marine terrace near the definition of a Queen Charlotte fault trace. This can be explained by an east-tipping fault plane, evident in moment tensor data for moderate to large earthquakes within the transition fault. Cascadia. This is the Cascadia Fault, Cascadia Range, Vancouver Island. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.